Welcome into the CHGO White Sox pregame show, coming to you live from Studio A of our CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm your host, Sean Anderson, back. You can follow us on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. Full CHGO White Sox crew is here. That's Vinny Duber. They've shown up to work. You can follow him at Vinny Duber. He's our CHGO White Sox beat writer. He's got a brand new piece up today about Mike Clevenger. Man in the middle, Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
Who did a great job filling in for me. You can follow him at Ecknerwall23. Also, shout out to Janice, who filled in for me on Thursday, and shout out to Steven, who filled in for me on Sunday, but you're here.
I am here, yeah.
So I
filled in for Herb. Herb filled in for you. I just swore a lot to replace Herb's role.
Did it go well?
I swore so much.
Did you enjoy? It
was fun.
All right, great.
It goes a lot faster behind over on that side.
It does. Appreciate White Sox Tom and Matthew Lucas. We'll be here for about a half hour hanging out with you, and then we'll be back for postgame. We're not going to talk about the stuff that happened on Friday yet. We'll update people, but we'll save that for postgame because hopefully we'll know more. Maybe there will be more reporting. We'll get as much knowledge as possible out there. I know there is new knowledge today because Brandon Johnson and then also the interim police chief spoke at the police graduation today. And Ben Bradley of WGN's been doing reporting. So we'll give you as much update as possible later on tonight. But again, we don't know enough, and it's just ridiculous of a story. But we do have a White Sox game coming up. We got Michael Kopech on the bump for the White Sox. We'll talk about Kopech and how he hopefully will bounce back tonight. We'll talk about Michael Kopech versus Grayson Rodriguez. I think there's a nice little comparison there because Grayson Rodriguez, also top prospect, struggling a little bit. They sent him down, and he's figured it out. And then we'll talk about, obviously, the starting Sox and, I guess, Gavin Sheets because, Steven, you didn't use any of your time yesterday to talk about how good Gavin Sheets was?
We were so busy focusing on whatever that last week was that we did not get to Gavin Sheets somehow.
I got to be honest. I didn't really actually make my click to pick or my pick to click, whatever we call it. Again, I have not learned it.
Click to pick.
Steven just walked outside and he was like, "Oh, Luis Robert Jr. has been taken. You should take Gavin Sheets." And I was like, "Okay, great." So I didn't do
Spoiler
any
alert.
thinking.
Steven loves a homecoming story.
He is producing Gavin Sheets content.
Somebody has
Sheets cast.
We could do it. It's rare that he's in the lineup. But Michael Kopech is on the bump for the White Sox, and Steven, again, producing, said that you had some interesting stuff from Kopech's last start, talking about how his confidence really hasn't been there on the mound. Obviously, we're hoping for a comeback for Kopech tonight, but it might be more of the same where, he gets down and starts walking guys and just starts really, everyone really always says it, that you can kind of see it on Michael more than anyone.
You listen, he's talked about the emotional side of the game that he's had to deal with this year. He's talked about the mental side of the game that he's had to deal with this year. And now we even got Pedro Grifol saying that, it's on the White Sox and Kopech to get that mental side right. This is a public talking point right now. And again, nothing to be embarrassed by or ashamed of or anything like that, but it's very clearly part of the reason that Michael Kopech has had quite, frankly, a bad season this year when it comes to putting the results up on the board. So this is a guy who, Pedro always kind of points out that little stretch earlier in the season where things were going well. It's not a very large number of starts, especially as we go further and further into the calendar, right? And so this is a guy who the White Sox needed. Listen, if we're taking their words of a developmental year, right, they needed him to develop this year, and it has not gone well. He has not developed into a guy, at least to this point, who I think would be going into next year where you would say you're confident in him making 30 really good starts. It's at the point where he needs this final month to go well, so he's not as big of a question mark as he is right now. There is not a lot of starting pitching to be had in this organization, at least at the upper, at the major league and AAA level of this organization. So they need Michael Kopech in a bad way, and he has not been able to deliver. And a big part of that has been the mental side of the game, the emotional side of the game, and it's something you watch for every start. Is he going to get off to a good enough start where he doesn't have to fall into those same habits again?
And Michael Kopech hasn't pitched 6 innings, finished a start after 6 innings in 12 starts. This is the last start of his 4-game run where he was pitching really well. And so I just need him, and this is a tough lineup to pitch 6 innings versus because they hit the ball really damn hard. And if Michael Kopech can keep the ball within the strike zone and get them to swing and put the ball in play, it's got plenty of field. Back fences in left field, they have more field out there and let your fielders do their work. I just need him to start, gearing for the pitcher he's going to be instead of the pitcher that he is now. Because 4 1/3, 4 2/3, 5 innings. This is not of what the White Sox need. He wanted to pitch 180 innings this year. Not close to that. Not even going to get close to that. But I need him to start training his mind. It's like, okay, if I'm going to be the pitcher I wanted to be, I need to maximize my pitches and get into a groove of 6 innings pitch is minimum where I should be pitching at. And even Pedro Grifol, these games don't matter at all. If he's getting rocked, let him in there. Let him pitch his subsequent pitches he needs to pitch. And if it lands in the 6th inning and he's done, cool. Because you need to train his body and he needs to train his mind to know 6 innings is the standard. That's where we need to go. And he's not close to that. He's not close to even qualifying for a win in most of these games, much less 6 innings.
Well, and last inning too, he dealt with a flare-up of cramps, so he wasn't really even able to finish it out and really see the true end to his start. So it's either he's getting rocked by the Braves, or he's getting bit by an injury bug, or he's getting hammered with home runs. And I went back and listened to your spring training interview with Michael, where he mentioned 180 to 200 innings. Hey, set goals
Good
high.
goal to have. Good goal to have.
Hey,
Yeah.
I mean, he might throw 140. I mean, he's at 120 right now. If he makes 4 more starts and has 6 innings, I mean, that's 24 innings. I mean, he could reach 140. I mean, hasn't been like the worst year. It's not confidence building for himself, but he does seem like an extremely emotional player. We saw in 2020 he sat out that year, and after 2019 having Tommy John, so 2 missed years there. He's talked a lot about his personal growth. Jared had that piece last year on how he's tried to find himself through faith. And what he told you was that he still wasn't super confident even after last year because of injuries. And, he really didn't feel like he put on enough innings still. 25 starts, 119 innings. Right now he's at 24 starts, 120 innings. So he's basically in the same place. So I get why that frustration has built up for him. But I also think about Lucas Giolito. Because what if Michael Kopech has a good offseason and the White Sox, again, just keep that faith in just saying, we got nobody for our rotation next year. You don't have to worry about losing your job. Just go out there and throw. And I think he would be a candidate to move down to the minor leagues if they had more pitching, right? Because I think that maybe you would need to see him, just like a basketball player, like see it go into the hoop. Like maybe he just needs to go down and face worse competition and just get that confidence back up. But again, the White Sox aren't in a place to do that.
I would say that's what 2020 would have, or 2021 should have been for then. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, this guy has never had that innings base under him, right? He threw a lot of innings in 2018 in the minor leagues, 2017, 2018 in the minor leagues, and then obviously missed 2019 with the Tommy John. Missed 2020 because he sat out. That's 2 full years that you were supposed to be getting innings together that you didn't get. And so what was 2021 about? They put him in the bullpen to just have him contribute in some way, and he was pretty good. He was pretty good for them out of the bullpen. But that innings base still wasn't there. If they were wanting him to be, they chose the plan of doing that, of putting him in the bullpen in 21, of last year they were going to manage him in some creative way, right? And then this year was supposed to be the year where they could let him go. It's been so long. Mm-hmm. It's been so long. If the idea was this guy needed to go down to the minor leagues, I mean, he only had a very small handful of starts when he came up to the big leagues at the end of 2018. 4 or 5, I think it was. So he didn't do so much that it's like, oh, well, we can't send this guy down after he missed 2 years. Like, they should have done that in 21. Let him build up that innings base again. Again, hindsight, right? They thought that his arm could contribute, and certainly it did. As I mentioned, he was very good out of the bullpen in 2021. So it looked like it was going to work in that way, but now here we are 2 years later, and we're still talking about, is he going to be able to throw X amount of innings? Is he ready to go? Does he need to build up more? Does he need to develop more? The guy is 5 years removed from his major league debut.
Yeah, literally. I mean, it was my 21st birthday. I was there. I was there on August 21st, 2018, and then I saw Michael Kopech's first start get rained out. And now he's 27 and I'm 25, and we're all getting older, and the sun keeps spinning. But in 2021, like, he was incredible. Like I
He
really
was very, very good. Yeah, absolutely.
looking at these numbers, you just kind of forget 3.50 ERA coming out of the pen. He made 4 starts. You know, I mean,
More openers,
more openers. And he got, I think, 1 6-inning start in there. In those 69 and a third innings, 24 walks and 103 strikeouts.
That works.
That does not seem like the same pitcher. Again, 103 strikeouts. The next year, in 2022, 105 strikeouts in 119 innings. So, like, it just wasn't the same dominance, that same zip, that same ferocity. Okay, there you go. Ferocity out of that
right?
starting.
Now that I hear that, maybe
ferociousness.
Ferocity.
No, ferocity's right.
Let's go with ferocity, Steven. Yeah.
I trust your gut better than my gut on
Yeah.
words.
Well, I heard myself say that. I'm like, that's something that I would definitely need to look up before writing it.
Say spoon, though, like 5 times, and spoon stops making sense if you keep saying a word over and over again.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Does it? I don't know.
Say spoon.
Spoon.
Say spoon.
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 Doesn't make sense.
That's all right.
I think it still means spoon.
Yeah. It's a
Yes.
spoon.
I don't know. But I don't know. Like I think like his confidence is already shaken. So it's like sending him down to the minors. I don't know if that's going to shake his confidence. Like putting him in the bullpen, I don't think that's going to help his confidence. Like I don't know what you do with him.
Do
They're just
something
really
different than we're
stuck.
doing right now. Hypnosis, psychotherapy. I
This
don't
is
know.
your first suggestion, hypnosis?
Something else. Like,
Make Roger Clemens thinks he's a chicken out on the mound out there?
Something else. Read Fredericks of Hollywood. Like what's the guy on Major League 2?
Oh, I was thinking
The catcher.
Bull Durham.
The catcher who has to read like Playboy or Playgirl and read the articles and read the stories and the bios of the women and then repeat it to himself to throw it down to second base or throw it back to the pitcher.
Rube Baker.
Rube Baker, yeah. He do something else.
These are your suggestions.
I mean, I would not
Playboy
close the
and
door
hypnosis.
on anything for Michael Kopech because we all know it's mental. We all know it's confidence based because we know the stuff is there, and so unlocking to where he has best performance. You say they already have performance people at the White Sox, sports psychologists at the White Sox. So I'm sure he's working with those people. It's not unlocked yet. You need to find some alternative thing, maybe some ayahuasca. Go and talk to Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, boy.
Do something. Because what you're doing now is not working for him or you.
No. And two, it still feels like that stuff is there, but the stuff does seem diminished coming out of the bullpen. So, like, I hope it's not a Reynaldo Lopez thing, but he doesn't seem to have bad vision. It doesn't seem to be a LASIK thing. Maybe you can nuke Lelouchum.
You're just now because of what happened with Reynaldo, you're just guessing that any poor performing White Sox pitcher just can't see.
I brought this up. I'm saying it's not a LASIK thing. I think he can see.
Just give him LASIK anyways.
Yeah.
It's like,
Everybody
just do
gets preemptive LASIK.
Right. I mean,
I'm 2010, coach. You're getting it.
White Sox can foot the bill. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on. If it's
mean,
going to make him see the damn mound or see the catcher. But I'm not sure. Like it worked for Grayson Rodriguez, and that's why I'm bringing it up. But again, he made his major league debut this year, and was that bad. He had a 3.75 ERA before he was sent down, a 5.92 FIP, and that's the thing too. When you look at Kopech, like you could see the ERA last year being 3.54, but his FIP was 4.49. Now you see his ERA at 4.95 and his FIP's at 6.52. Right, like he was just having less success than Grayson Rodriguez. Grayson Rodriguez was getting hit hard, and when he would walk a guy, then he would give up a home run, so it would just inflate his ERA. Michael Kopech's putting so many guys on base that his ERA should probably be like 10, but it is 4.9 because he started off with like 14 starts of being under 4. But Grayson, in his first 10 starts, 3.75 ERA, and then since he's come back, a 3.24 ERA, has cut down his walk rate, has increased his strikeout rate, was only given up 2 home runs. This is a guy that's absolutely going to eat up the White Sox. I would be shocked if they did go deep off of him. I guess the only reason why I'm confident that one guy will is because of Gavin Sheets graphic. But if you want to flash the starting pitching graphic, Rodriguez, 87 innings pitched this year, 5.38 ERA. Again, that's inflated because of his first 10 starts. 90 hits allowed, 91 strikeouts, 34 walks. Again, 13 strikeouts have come in his last 13 walks have come in his last 7 games. The other were in his first 10, and then 91 Ks, 35 of them have come in his last 7 starts, and an ERA plus of 78. But again, in his last 7 starts, batters are hitting 218, 284, and slugging 293 off of Mr. Rodriguez. This was a guy that, if they were going to trade away Dylan Cease at the deadline, this is who I wanted from the Orioles, not Jackson Holliday. Seemed like, again, Orioles didn't want to pay any price for Dylan Cease, and in hindsight, it probably was a smart deal because Rodriguez is pitching better than Cease right now. But there have been examples before of guys going down, working on specific things, gaining confidence, and coming back having success. Also, Alek Manoah, who was 5th in Cy Young last year or 3rd in Cy Young last year, also got sent down, got called back up, worked on things, and things haven't worked out. And I don't even think he's on the major league roster right now. So, just seems like starting pitchers are fickle. I don't know. Kopech is a guy that it's just so perplexing that he has been so promising, had that great start in 2021, and again, it just seems like they're letting him figure it out on his own. And after 50 starts, I don't know if this could just you got to do something else, like you said earlier.
Yeah, and this year the thing that's different than last year is the pitch clock. So we gave a little grace early to pitchers who are struggling with the pitch clock, and slow workers, I think Michael Kopech was a slow worker last year, have to adjust, and that might be Alek Manoah's problem too, where he just can't get back to the Cy Young form that he was last year. So I don't know, a full season, I think you joke every time, it's like, this is another developmental year for Kopech, and we're in year 5 of his White Sox career, major league career, and I don't know. The excuses are plenty because we know that there's some good pitcher inside there. We're just trying to figure out why it hasn't happened as yet and why it doesn't look like it's ever going to happen for Michael Kopech. But I don't know. Stephen Gottfried says, both Cease and Kopech had the same problem. They walk a bunch of people, and they haven't fixed the problem. Kopech was a guy who walked a lot of people last year, too. And the fact that they haven't fixed that problem is a troubling thing. I don't know necessarily if Ethan Katz has to go because he has a lot of W's in his column with rare losses. But I don't know. Something has to give, and they have to find a way to have this guy unlocked because he is so important to the 2024 success of that team.
Yeah, and it just continues with total uncertainty or a degree thereof with what's going to happen at the top of the baseball department. You don't know what the next person is going to think about Rick Hahn's comment that contention is viable in 2024. Do they agree? Did Rick even think that the idea was going to be they're going to go for it in 2024, or it was just this possible thing that could exist? So, we never got an end-of-season press conference from Rick to figure out what his plan was for the offseason. We are going to get an end-of-season press conference from somebody, but as of right now, we don't know what that person's thoughts are going to be on next year. So is Michael Kopech as critical as we are talking about? He sure would seem that way if they plan on doing that for next year, but are they going to undergo some sort of directional change in which the determination is made that it's not working out? I certainly think that they all think he can still be that top of the rotation guy that they've long envisioned him to be, but we are getting an every 5th day example right now about how it is currently not working. Doesn't mean that it can't change, and I think you bringing up Giolito is a great example. You really got to look, though. That was his first full year in the majors in which he was the, quote, worst pitcher in baseball, right? This is Michael Kopech's 3rd full year in the majors with 2 years as a major league player, even though he wasn't playing before that. They always say not all development is linear kind of thing, and certainly that is the case with Michael Kopech, but you ever wonder, is the fact that it was so non-linear going to mean that he ever gets to the end?
Yeah, I do think even though we would love to see more innings from Kopech. Like you mentioned, he hasn't hit 6 innings in
12 starts.
12 starts. The fact that he still is on pace for 140 innings isn't bad. Like, he talked about his biggest frustration being injuries. Like, knock on wood, he's been fairly healthy over the past 2 years. I mean, he's made 25 starts. And
last
now
year he had some stuff. Obviously, you remember
Yeah.
the shutdown at the end of the year. But this year he had the one somewhat long IL trip, but nothing that you wouldn't expect from a pitcher in any season, right?
It's leg stuff, right? I mean, no arm issues. Like, you know,
Right.
I mean, like, nothing. I mean, he had the shoulder inflammation, which I guess maybe that's a little concerning, but
Hasn't
been
popped
able-
up again,
right?
that we know of. Yeah, right.
And he's been able to pitch. I mean, cramping took him out last time. But that's not his arm. So hopefully he could just continue to add those innings on to his ledger this year. I hopefully he could just find something else though, like another pitch, because he's got a really great fastball. His fastball is better than Grayson Rodriguez, but Grayson Rodriguez can also have, like, she can just flash you 5 pitches, where Kopech's slider really just isn't it anymore. We heard about Grandal talk about his changeup. Really haven't seen that anymore. He's shelved the curveball completely. So I think it's really just about gaining that confidence, building up that stamina, and trying to find anything else besides your fastball, because he looks like a major league pitcher.
Yes.
Like him and Grayson Rodriguez, you stand those guys next to each other, and it's like, oh yeah, those are professional athletes. That makes sense. Like, those two men look like horses.
I mean, how many times have we seen him go into at least 4 or 5 innings with a no-hitter?
Right.
4 walks in there each time, 3 or 4 strikeouts. He has stuff that people don't want to touch, and they don't touch it for the most part until he gets a little wild and walks some batters, and then he gives up some hard contact because he leaves it only fastballs. Like you said, if you only can find fastballs, I'm not sitting on anything else but your 98, and sometimes it's been 96, 93. I'm crushing.
Yeah. Too, and it's like, but if this guy finds confidence again, he could be a monster. Because he could throw 97 just completely past you. So I don't know. He's very interesting, and I know he's frustrating for a lot of fans, but he is a very interesting player for the Sox, especially with next year just being kind of up for grabs.
Before you jump into the Sheets cast portion of the program, I don't know if this is new, Herb. I wasn't here in the studio last week, but we've got a Sox jersey hanging on the balcony of the building across the street here.
That's our guy.
That is our guy.
That's our guy.
Works over at the shop.
Well, there you go.
Store.
The store. Okay.
Yeah, when every time I used to say I work at the Score 670 out in public, the people are like, oh, the store, I've been there. Of course, all the time. Great Lincoln Park bar, 4 a.m.
Oh, I thought you just meant Jewel. I thought you meant just Jewel.
Nah.
The store.
Yeah.
I'm going down to the store to get some.
The store, Beaumont.
He's listening.
My man.
What's our guy's name?
Yeah,
What's up,
he's
buddy?
clapping for us.
No, and
there
I know,
it is.
I know his actual. Carm shared his name.
All right.
That's my guy over
We
there.
gotta
Now
give
we
the
gotta
shout-outs.
him,
We gotta
actually.
give
We
him.
gotta give him a shout out.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
There's
hold
no one who loved the store more than former White Sox pre- and post host Chris Ranji.
Mark.
Loved it. Absolutely
Kevin.
loved it.
Wait.
Him, and he liked that place and Beaumont. Same place, down the street. Well, not
Yeah.
the same place, but kind of close to each other.
No, it's Kevin.
Kevin?
It's Kevin. Shout out
He's got
Kevin.
a green hat on,
Yeah,
too.
he was
What up, Kevin?
pointing out the jersey.
Oh,
There
wait,
you
but
go.
is that the Steve Stone or Jason Benetti bucket hat?
It might be.
It might be. Shout out to our guy, their shirtless wonder over there. All right,
Great guy over there.
great guy. Love the bit. All right, let's go to the Sheets cast. We did that, right? Yeah, we did that, Stephen. Okay. So no place like home. Returning to where Larry's going to be sitting, right behind the plate. Steve Stone's former home as well. Is
Huh?
Steve?
No, he's not.
He's from Cleveland.
He's from Cleveland.
but
He played for the Orioles.
Yeah,
won a Cy Young there.
for the
Yeah,
Orioles.
but like he's always talking about Baltimore.
He played there. Right. He's from Cleveland.
That pitching staff was like him, Mike Cuellar, Palmer. They all won Cy Youngs.
I know Jim Palmer, and I only know Steve Stone because he's
Mike Cuellar, yeah,
been
also
in
great.
Chicago for 40 years. But no place like home. Larry Sheets will be rooting on his boy, Gavin, tonight. 12 games against the Orioles, and this is in Baltimore.
This is total.
This is
Total.
total.
Oh, wow.
So- okay, all right. So 12 games versus the Baltimore Orioles, 400 batting average, 467 OBP, 3 dingers, 9 RBIs, and a cool slugging percentage of 675. Let's go to our clicks to pick. I'm going with Gavin Sheets because Steven told me to.
Because it's a Sheets cast.
Because it's our Sheets cast.
Yeah.
Because whenever Gavin Sheets is in the lineup, you say Gavin Sheets couldn't hit a home run, and yet he does.
He hits home runs, an ample amount.
Last time he was in a game I watched, he hit a home run.
It's that if a left-handed pitcher is even in the ballpark, they won't let him bat. So obviously Rodriguez is a righty, so they're going to let him bat tonight. But the second they bring in a lefty in relief, you can expect you can't. Last time it was Carlos Perez. He's no longer on the team, but somebody's going to pinch hit for him. You would have to
10
imagine.
at-bats versus lefties this year.
Yeah.
And I see if they do bring in a lefty, I see Vinny goes with the lefty masher.
I went with Andrew Benintendi because before the show, Steven goes, "You need to pick somebody for this," and I had like 30 seconds before the show started, so I go, "I'll pick Benintendi because I just wrote a story about him and I can plug it here with this great opportunity." So thank you, Steven. Go ahead and check out allchgo.com to read about Andrew Benintendi and his power surge from last week.
And I'm going with Luis Robert Jr. As you recall, last year when he was in Baltimore, he was swinging one-handed because he was injured, and so this is a reprieve. He's going to be going deep this game versus Grayson Rodriguez because he's a stud.
Yeah, and if you couldn't tell, Herb got the first pick.
Yeah.
Damn straight.
So there you go.
Best player on the team.
Herb walked in and just
really
started
stepping out on a limb today.
Yeah, I was like, literally, Steve's like, you got the first pick. Right when he said the
It was just 'cause you were sitting there.
K
No one
in
else
pick,
was.
I was like, Luis Robert.
I was here at
so it was like
3:30.
one. It was
but you
one
were outside
sentence.
when I got to the graphic.
You're a jerk.
That's fair.
No, but
lineups.
Benny or Gavin Sheets at Camden, 391 average, 440 on base, 565 slugging percentage. So he likes it. He likes it there. Let's go to the starting lineup. Leading off, Tim Anderson, shortstop, batting second. Vinny's latest subject at allchgo.com.
3 home runs in a row
I'm not
off of
talking about it.
lefties.
I'm saving it.
Sean.
I have a lot to talk about.
We don't.
later.
Yeah, we only have about 3 minutes till 6 o'clock here.
We'll tease it. Luis Robert Jr. in center field, batting fourth, Eloy Jimenez at DH. Batting fifth, Yohan Moncada. He seems to be back at third base. Batting sixth, Gavin Sheets at first base. Thankfully, batting seventh, Lenine Sosa at second base. Batting eighth, Oscar Colas in right field. And batting ninth, Corey Lee at catcher. Corey Lee review. Thoughts so far on him?
Pedro's impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Runs hard, catches
runs
well.
hard. Steven's
Ooh, I
guy.
like that.
Yeah.
All right.
I saw you walk twice in a game.
Yeah,
Cool.
seems like he catches a good game. Leadership looks like it's there as a young player, going out to telling what the pitcher what to throw.
Pedro was saying they had a pitchers meeting the other day, and he was not surprised, but happy to see Corey Lee kind of stepping up and using his voice in the middle of a pitchers meeting after he'd only been in the big leagues for about 2 days. So.
Let's go. All right. Hey, he learned all that leadership from Maldonado.
There you go.
There you
Who
go.
pitched the other day?
He did?
Yeah.
Was he throwing like 80?
The Red Sox beat them 17-1 or something like that.
that
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, he
All
got
right.
rocked in that little bit of an outing.
Fred's picking Santander to click. Blank name. Are you predicting homer number 6?
I don't know if I'll go that far, but
Okay.
I'll click him to pick or whatever the verbiage should be.
Benintendi to homer is 11-1, so I will bet it in good faith because if he does hit a home run,
I don't
it will
think
just be
anything you've ever
hilarious.
done regarding Benintendi has ever been in good faith.
I'm not rooting. I'm like, the fact that I like any White Sox player, except for one. I want them to succeed.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, the Orioles lineup is as follows: Adley Rutschman at 1. And he's catching. I got a quiz for you guys later, too, about Adley. Batting second, Gunnar Henderson at shortstop. Batting third, Anthony Santander at DH. Batting fourth, Ryan Mountcastle at first base. Batting fifth, Ryan O'Hearn in right field. Batting sixth, Cedric Mullins in center field. Batting seventh, Ramon Urias, Jesus, at third base. Batting eighth, Adam Frazier at second base. And batting ninth, Ryan McKenna in left field.
This lineup is 33% Ryans.
Is it really?
That's
Good
a
math on the fly. Ryan Mountcastle or Hearn and what was the other one? McKenna. All right. Yeah, Mountcastle is scary. That guy can hit the ball very, very far. Even though they made those fences, they moved those fences back. He has a homer in this park, 472 feet. So
It'll work.
The ball might be flying out of Camden Yards tonight. We'll talk more about this game later on tonight. That's Vinny Duber. You could read his latest piece at allchgo.com, and you can follow him at Vinny Duber. That's Herb Lawrence. You can follow him at Ecknerwall23, and I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me at Sean_W_Anderson. You can follow the show at CHGO_White Sox. Thank you to Stephen Nicholas for producing the Sheets cast. Talk to you after the game. Bye.